Hello FlossTube Stitchers, Shelley here at Just Stitching with video number 43, which I am calling Freebie February, because I promised you that I would be doing a free chart for all 29 days of the month of February, 29 different designers, and I will show you or give you the link to where you can find the free charts, because I don't think I want to mail all those paper charts to everybody, so it has involved a little bit of detective work on my part, because sometimes I already had the free chart printed out, then I had to go back and figure out where I had found it. But we're going to talk about that a little later, and I'm going to start with my finishes. So this first one, you have never seen me work on, because I just found it recently in a very strange place when I was looking for something else. And I just want to ask myself every time that happens, like, why do you do that? Why do you almost finish something and then leave it hanging, put something on top of it, zip up the bag, and just completely forget that you even stitched it? I don't know why. Does anyone else have that problem? I hope so. But anyway, this first one is Lizzy Kate's Winter Wishes from 2006. It wasn't 2006, it was much later that I started it, but I still had actually forgotten that I did it. So here is my finish. And when I pulled it out of its hiding spot, all I had left to do was one row of white snow on the top of the roof, the chimney and the smoke, and then the original design called for, I don't know if you can tell, but it called for just white X's, and I decided that since the charm was silver, that I was going to use, I think it was 2010 Mill Hill beads. Since we have gotten a lot of rainy, icy, weird kind of weather, not like our normal winter, I thought the silvery looking beads kind of looked like icy rain, and they went with the snowflake charm. So unfortunately that snowflake charm is no longer available, and I wasn't going to tease you or any of my other customers. I was really going to look for maybe a Mill Hill treasure or something else to put in its place, but I had the charm and it is what it is. And so I used it, sorry. I stitched it with the silvery color marlet or marlite, however you say it, from Anchor. It's their rayon thread, rather than using metallic. And I actually really like the way it looks. All right, now I'm hoping that you can't see how I sewed it on, because I think it kind of blends right into the charm. So I was really happy with that. I totally finished this just so I could show you. You guys are what's keeping me honest, keeping me motivated, keeping me finishing things. Sorry, I just hit the table. Anyway, so that's a good thing that I finished that. It was 28 count pewter Lugana that I'm working on. Then my second finish was one of my Stitch Manias. Heart in Hand, Bird in the Hand Halloween. And I think I only had like maybe the top border and the orange part of the bird and maybe nothing else, because of course I only worked on it for like 2 hours that day. But I did finish it. And here it is. It's on a 30 count R&R, kind of a neutral color. Right now I can't think of the name, but it doesn't matter because they don't make it anymore. So you just have to pick, you know, what you like for yourself. The original had called for Legacy, 28 count from Picture This Plus, so I didn't use what it called for anyway. And the designer had 3 little French knots on the chest of the owl. And I normally do not have problems with French knots or with colonial knots, and I was actually doing colonial, and I didn't like the way they looked. I did them like 3 times, and I thought, shoot, I don't even think it needs those French knots on the chest. Sorry, Cecilia, but I removed them, and I was happy with it. Then she called for just a couple stitches of like a purpley color, maybe one of the X's and a couple stitches up there. And I kind of felt like it wasn't enough use of that color, and I really liked the green. So I just did everything in green. And then you can't really tell, but the leaves on the branch are two different colors. And again, I did those like 3 times because I didn't have old red paint, couldn't find it in my stash. I knew it wasn't gonna come anytime soon. Didn't really know what the substitute would be. So I used a color that was similar to the one that was supposed to be used for those other stitches. And whatever, it's just supposed to look like the leaves are slightly different colors on the branch, so I think that worked. I'm not afraid. I usually do follow the designer's suggestions because I figure I liked it when I picked it out. I like the way it looks in the picture, but I'm also not afraid to change something. So anyway, very happy with that. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it. All right, then on to Freebie February. And the first one I worked on, let me see if I can pull up this picture quickly. I have everything in a folder called Free Charts. And this is from Needlework Press. I think she just called it Strawberry, or maybe it didn't even have a name. And I loved it because it'll go very nicely with my strawberry collection, and because it's one color. So that appealed to me, especially for the first day. So here's my board. This is what I got done on the first night. I'm doing it on 32 count vintage country mocha in Zweigart's Belfast. So it's their vintage line. And I decided to use an overdye for the whole thing. I'm using the Gentle Art Ruby Slipper, which is my new favorite red. I am loving how this is coming out. So that was one night's work. And then day 2 was the Tiny Modernist Easter Bunny. And it called for all DMC, but I decided that I wanted to make the bunny look a little more realistic by using an overdyed fiber. And I also chose a slightly different way to stitch with it. So I'm using Gentle Art Portobello, and I reversed the strands so that when I take 2 strands off of the length of thread, I just reverse one of them, so now they're going in opposite directions, which is not, you know, the industry's advised way of stitching, but this is just something little, and I used thread conditioner, so I was confident that the strands would work well together and lay nicely, and whatever. You can use a laying tool or use the railroading technique or whatever you need to do to let the thread lay nicely next to each other. So anyway, that's what I got done in the first day. And then I'm also going to use 1 strand of white or off-white and 1 strand of Whisper to do the tail. So it's a little fluffy and realistic. So I was very pleased at what I got done in the first day. Okay, and then I wanted to also shoot, because I almost forgot to do this in the social media post. I forgot to tell you the fabric. So a customer had called about maybe 2 weeks ago asking for some Lugana, and she gave me some names that I was not familiar with, and one of them was Springfield Sage. It's in the DMC color family of 523, 524, and it's really pretty. And unfortunately, I didn't have it the week that she wanted it, but I'm gonna have to call and let her know that it came in, and so I had the first cut for myself off of it. And I was thinking of doing the bunny. I thought about this bunny for a couple years. I think it's from 2013. And I thought maybe I would do it on a pale blue so it looked like a spring sky. But when this came in, and I just thought that was a really nice, soft, springy shade. So that was that. And then day 3, let me refer to my iPhone again and get that one. This was a little awkward to stitch from. because the chart that I pulled up that was going horizontally was a little blurry. So I was trying to stitch from this one, which was better, but I had to prop it on my stitching chair kind of sort of wonky sideways because every time I tried to make it horizontal, it would switch back to the original orientation of the picture. But anyway, that is B from Sub Rosa Design. And this is how much I got finished in one night. I did change a few of the colors. I think they're all supposed to be DMC, and is that right? Yeah, no, actually they're all, I misspoke. They're all Weeks Dye Works, but I chose to tweak some of the colors to better show up on my fabric. And I actually started stitching the skep itself, and I tried two different colors and I didn't like it. The original color they used blended in too much, and then my substitute really wasn't much better. So when I came to work today, I looked at Bee's Knees from Weeks Dye Works, and I think that's going to work for the skep and show up. I'm also going to take out the word B that I already stitched because I don't like the way the top of each letter is really light. I didn't do it on purpose, it's just how the thread played out as I stitched the letters. So since I'm going to do Bee's Knees for the skep, I think that's also too close to the whiskey, and I'm going to use a darker color for the bee. And then I switched up the green because my Oscar was really dull and it didn't look very green when I was stitching with it, and I didn't have a full skein anyway, so I changed that to a darker green, and when I'm done I can give you guys all the changes. So that was day 3. And then today I had a little bit of time to stitch before I did the video, yay, otherwise I would have just been showing it on social media at midnight or 1 a.m. and you wouldn't have gotten to see it at all. This is from the Scarlet House, and this is not a good chart. I don't mean that her chart wasn't good, I mean my printed copy wasn't very good. You can't see the grid lines. So I really can stitch from that from her Facebook post, because now that I know what all the colors are, I don't really need the symbol chart. The symbol chart on her Facebook is very nice and clear, and the printed chart that I have is, I think, somebody else's download and copy and whatever so that they could read it. It was probably from Pinterest, and so the grid lines didn't come out. And at first I thought it was that my printer was running out of ink, but that wasn't the case. It's just not a very good copy. So I'm going to stitch from my device from when I get to the parts where I really, you can't see the tree. So I'm going to stitch from my device for that part. But oops, I keep forgetting about the backing. But this is what I got stitched, and she called for all DMC. But you know, this girl likes to have realistic looking bricks. So I am using Weeks Dye Works Cayenne, which now is my new favorite red. I'm so fickle, but I really like the way that's turning out. And then I wanted to just talk for a few minutes on tips for finding free charts. So I am going to give you all the links or tell you where to get them. Some of them are from Facebook posts. The Tiny Modernist was from her website, but it's hard to find. You have to put /free chart to get to it, and maybe you don't already know to do that. Some are from blogs where if you don't follow a designer's blog, it might be really hard to find. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips. So first of all, on Facebook, sometimes you have to belong to the designer's fan group. She doesn't have them on her own Facebook page, unless she offers it, like a lot of designers do, end of the year thank you Christmas chart for their fans, or for their just their regular customers. So this is on their regular Facebook page. And if you don't catch it, you have to go back and search for it because they don't have a files section. The files, I think, are only in groups. And I don't know if I can add a file group to my page so that I can share things like that. I haven't looked into that yet. But I found that most of the files are in the fan groups. So, and that's easy. It's just all the way at the top where it has all the other little things you can click on. It'll usually just say files. So if you're looking on their regular Facebook page and you know that it's supposed to be there, rather than scrolling and scrolling for minutes and minutes and have to keep refreshing your page and whatever, if you just go to their photos and you know what you're looking for, it's usually a graph, so you can skip all the colored pictures and just keep scrolling through their photos until you find the chart, and then you can click on it and get to the original link. So that worked for me very well. Sign up to receive designers' blog updates. I resisted doing that for quite a while because I didn't want a lot in my inbox, but you can print or save what you want and then just delete the email. So I am starting to sign up for people's blog updates so that I don't miss any of these free charts, because I used to be the queen of free charts. We had so many free charts with the little kits with the specialty cut fabric and just the amount of yardage that you needed, a list of any changes that we made to the original and that sort of thing. And I kind of got out of the habit of doing that because in order to do a good job selling the kit, you have to have the model stitched, right? So if you're looking, if you're just looking online, you can search for free chart or freebie. And I've actually found that freebie works better, F-R-E-E-B-I-E, because when you type in free, I found a lot of times you get any patriotic chart that has freedom in it. So you end up going through a lot of stuff that wasn't exactly what you're looking for, and they weren't free. They were just a chart that had the word freedom or free in it. For designers in other countries, you might want to look for the word free in other languages. So I've seen gratis or gratuit. I know I'm not pronouncing those right. Or regalo, which is gift. But I've noticed on a lot of foreign designers' blogs or websites, they actually do use the term free chart in English for us, or they say freebie, which of course we understand. So it's not as hard to find as you might think. What else? Sometimes a designer's website does have a section of free charts, but if you look at the top right under the header, it's just going to say how to contact them and how to get into their chart library, or maybe see fan finishes or corrections. And the link for the freebies isn't until the bottom. And you know why I think they do that? They want you to look at everything they have. So the freebies are actually designed in the first place, sure, as a gift to customers, but also to advertise the rest of their catalog. So they might make you look through a number of different things, and when you scroll to the bottom, then you find the link for the free charts. It's not a bad thing. We just have to try to think about the reasoning behind things. Sometimes the free charts, or like their oops section, is on their blog, and so you have to look for a link to the blog. Anyway, hope that helps. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I do have more than 29 free charts to choose from, so I will see as I go along which one I want to do next. I may not have a video this weekend because we're leaving for the mission trip at the crack of dawn on Saturday. I was going to do my bloopers reel, but honestly, I have 1,000,001 things to do before I leave, both here at the shop and at home. So I may not have time to finish the bloopers. So there may be a week without a video. You never know, I might still do the bloopers reel because we have a 7-hour layover, I think, in Dallas on the very first day. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm shaking the table again. So we'll see. And the very last thing that I need to do is the winner of the 2 heart and hand charts from last week. And it's my girl Tara. So don't worry, I have your address. I know where you are. I know where to find you. So congrats on that. No giveaway this time just because not sure what's going on in the next week or so, so I'll hold that up. And I guess that's it. Happy stitching. Thanks for watching. Have a great 10 days maybe till I see you again. Anyway, thanks. Bye-bye.